Hello, world. Good morning. This is the Founders and Innovators Morning Show. I'm Joia, and today I'm so excited to be here with Tiger, who has one of the coolest names I've ever heard and a really fascinating company to go along with it. He is the founder of Fairytrail, which is a company that serves digital nomads. And I know now here in the 21st century, so many of us in the entrepreneurial community, it's one of the great things about being an entrepreneur today is this ability to travel more and more. So I'm really excited to talk with you, Tiger, hear about the trends you're seeing in travel in this industry and all about your Fairy Trail company. So tell us even a little bit how you got this idea. Tell us what Fairy Trail is all about and how it started for you.
Awesome, cool. Yeah, thanks so much for having me here, first of all. And yeah, a little bit about how I got started. So, just a bit of a background. So, I've worked in 5 different countries. I've worked in China, the US, Germany, the UK, Canada. So, I've really come to appreciate all of the different cultures and the different types of people around the world. It's almost like the more you experience, the more you realize there is so much more to experience. So with that kind of mindset, I came back to the US, was working for a company that required me to travel a lot. And being single, I started using dating apps and I realized actually a lot of them don't really work if you're on the road a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I'm out of the city in a week, then there's no way I can actually go on a date with someone.
Mm-hmm.
So I realized more and more people are like me who travel a lot, who can be in different cities if they want to be. And I thought, well, why don't we create a dating app for people who are remote workers, who are digital nomads, who are frequent travelers, or just love travel? Because currently there's so much interest in travel, and the with remote work, it also allows people to work and have a livelihood almost anywhere in your country or in a different country. So, for example, if you're an architect, you're qualified to work in New York or Chicago or LA. If you drive for Uber, you can drive for Uber in LA or Seattle, Austin. So it's like the world is now just so much more different from 10, even 5 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
with remote work opportunities, with travel. So and also like cultural and behavioral changes. So I'm really excited to work on this new startup idea that's really geared towards dating for people who are very mobile.
Mm-hmm. I love it. I mean, and I'm married. I've been married for a few years now, but I feel even in, these past few years since I've been single, it's a whole new dating world out there. So let's even start. I'm curious to hear some of your experiences dating internationally. What are some of these things you've learned about different cultures as you've been traveling?
Well, so so the thing is, even though this app allows you to date internationally, most of what's been happening is still. So I wouldn't say, because people don't want to travel 7 hours to go on a date.
Mm-hmm.
People would rather spend about three hours maybe maximum. So that's one thing I've noticed. It doesn't have to be super international. You don't have to date someone from Russia or from Philippines, like super far away. They can even be someone from Seattle, or in my case, I was going, I matched with someone and she was in Arizona. So that's only about an hour and a half flying time. So that was really cool. And for me, it's like even if you're in a different state, it's almost a different culture because you can be from the south part of the US and that's a different culture, from, like different way of life and different views of the world. And it's really fascinating because I think when you date someone, it's almost like having like being really close, like having a very close friend, and then you realize, wow, there's so different views of the world and like culture value and values that you're not really, um, from your point of view, you're not really seeing. And I found that really fascinating, to meet people from, yeah, from different places. It doesn't even have to be international. um, but luckily I have also dated people from other countries too, and it's very similar to dating someone from a different city in your own country, but amplified.
Can you tell us a story of what's one of the most interesting things that's happened with this kind of cultural divide on a first date?
Um, I think so. For example, when I was in so dating in North America, when you go on a road trip, generally what happens is people love to um, to to actually go to restaurants all the time. It's really
Mhm.
funny that it's like they have this idea of vacation, and generally they love to just always go to restaurants and eat out on that road trip. But I also realized, so in Europe, when you go on a road trip with someone, they tend to actually, at least in the more Eastern Europe. So I was in Berlin,
Mhm.
so it's more Eastern European culture where for road trips, we would actually love to make a picnic. We would love to go to grocery stores beforehand. And I personally love going to grocery stores in different cities and different countries because I really love to see what is it like being a local there.
Mhm.
So I really enjoyed that part. So when I was dating someone in Berlin, a lot of times when we went on road trips, it was very fun in that we packed our own food. We would be able to eat anytime we got hungry instead of trying to like Yelp and find a really good restaurant, and like that was stressful. We can just start eating. So that was like one thing I noticed, like a cultural difference that was kind of interesting.
Awesome. So take us now into the life of building a startup because I hear, you got this idea of, here's a problem in the market. There's this new market of digital nomads, people who are traveling more and wanting to date. How does your story go of taking this idea and actually turning it into a company?
So my background is in product management, and anytime I have an idea, I want to make sure that I'm not crazy first.
Hmm.
I want to make sure that this makes sense. So when I build products in companies, I always do a lot of validation. So it means doing a lot of interviews, talking with people.
Hmm.
It also means doing quick things in terms of validation. So I would run an AdWords campaign to see if people were interested in this kind of crazy idea. I would do polls on Facebook. I would so for example, one of the things I did was I ran a poll in various Facebook groups that were travel centric, and I said, how many of you would date someone outside of your city?
Hmm.
And what was surprising was that number would be as high as 80%.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So about 80, sometimes up to 80% of people said yes. In one group, which was really interesting, it was a women's only travel group.
Hmm.
So I wanted to also get a sense from that perspective because potentially women might have more safety concerns.
Right.
So I ran the poll there too, and we found that um, it was about 25% said yes, I would be open to traveling for a first date, um, which is kind of what we're asking people to do. And we're saying, are you willing to travel for a first date? So that
Hmm.
was really good. Um, but then what was astounding was 50% said no, but if I were already going there, I would be open to meetings up for a date.
Hmm.
So if you add those two together, that would be about 75% saying yes, I would be open to meeting someone in a different city for a date, which is basically what our product is giving. Um, so I was understand since the relationship initially, can would you actually take the first step in terms of traveling? So I hired a company and we landed at 45% mark in terms of what percentage of people are willing to go on a first date with someone outside of the city and then also get into a relationship that way. So that was very promising, and with that, I went ahead and I said, well, we've done as much research as we can. We have to basically put the product out there. Um, yeah, so we have to actually put the product out there for people to try it out and see what happens now.
Hmm. So where are you at now? Do you have users?
Yeah, so we got the product out about 2 weeks ago. We have users. Um, there's a lot of learnings along the way. We're making adjustments in the app, but so far people love the concept, and it's really growing quickly. And so the beauty of this is we don't need to launch city by city like Uber or Tinder. They had to launch city by city. We are an international marketplace, so we can just launch globally. So it makes it very exciting, and people are willing to travel. Actually, it's not a negative that you have to travel. It's actually people want to travel. So we're in a very good position right now, and we're starting to get more and more press attention. There's a lot of travel journalists who want to try it out. So we're trying to set them up, trying to get them on board to write articles. So it's a lot of exciting things happening right now.
I'm curious, what are some of the things you've learned even at this really early stage?
Well, one of the biggest things we had to change was initially we wanted people to pay a deposit um, before allowing the people to talk. So what Fairytrail does is we allow you to match with someone and then match on a group adventure. So it's super safe. You're not meeting this person one-on-one. You're
Mm-hmm.
actually meeting the person on a group trip. These are 2-3 day trips provided by Airbnb or Viator. So there's a professional guide. You're in a group of 5 to 25 people, super safe, and really fun and hassle-free. So you don't even have to plan your dates. You just show up, have a great time, and get to know someone you already met over video chat and kind of like.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the crazy things we found was that actually people weren't as keen on the experiences, because I thought people love travel. So if you were able to match up with someone you kind of like, then maybe you would be able to just pay a deposit. And we wanted to create sincerity, and we wanted to have people to show that they're actually going to travel. So that was the initial version of the app, and we realized, okay, people did pay deposits, but it was creating a lot of friction. Actually, people really care about the other person a lot more than the trip. So that was a key insight. And we're like, okay, how can we make it easier for people to video chat as soon as possible? So that's kind of how we changed the app. And so far, people love it now. They love that like instant ability to start getting value right away, because
Mm-hmm.
they're able to interact with someone they otherwise would never be able to meet.
That's amazing. So we're almost out of time, but tell people if they're interested to find out more, how can they find you?
Yeah, so if you're interested, just search for Fairytrail in the App Store or Google Play Store, or on Google, and we'll show up in the search results. And you can try out the app. Let us know your feedback. It's still really early stages, and we really care about you as a user, because I've been there, and I'm still using the app myself just to make sure that this is exactly what people want. So if you have any feedback, I would love to hear it, and we can make a really great product together.
I love that. I love even the spirit of that, of really bringing the consumers and the customers on board and getting them to help build what Fairy Trail will be. So just end by telling us the story of how did you come up with this name, Fairy Trail?
I thought really hard, and I wanted to convey the sense of adventure and fun and hiking, and a um, group travel. And I also wanted to convey the sense that it's to do with dating and romance. So fairy trail sounds like fairy tale,
Mm-hmm.
and it also like kind of conveys or has connotations of hiking and adventure. So for me, it made a lot of sense, and people started loving the idea versus the other ideas I had for the app. Sorry, other names I had for the app.
That's great. Well, thank you so much for being here. I'm definitely going to go recommend it to my friends who are travelers so they can, start hopping on board and helping you build out a really great product.
Awesome. Thanks so much for having me here.
Yeah, thank you. Bye, everybody. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thanks for joining us today. Please don't forget to subscribe, review, and share this show. If you'd like exclusive content and behind-the-scenes insight, for just $4 a month, you can support us at buymeacoffee.com. Now, go make it a great day. Ask me why.